Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and just in time for the holiday season. The holiday that I'm talking about, of course, is Halloween. We are in the first week of October, and I wanted to do a horror-themed video game with a little bit of retro flavor. So this is a ROM hack of Resident Evil, specifically for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and this is Resident Evil NES. Let's take a closer look. Resident Evil, or Biohazard, is of course one of the original zombie and horror survivor games. Now, yes, there were some before it, but when you think of horror video games, chances are you're going to think of one of the Resident Evils. Now, this is obviously a remake, or demake, of the classic Resident Evil game, which was released back in 1996. The NES version has been severely pared down to run on a Nintendo, sacrificing quality in graphics and sound. But does it sacrifice on scares and gameplay? Well, let's find out. Now, to start off, the game does look good and sound okay. Unfortunately, there aren't any res tunes in this version. What you get is okay, but it's just the same track on a loop. The opening is faithful enough to the original, and you can even save and load your game, which is a nice feature to have, especially for a video game of this nature. You can choose between easy and hard settings. You'll see dialogue from different characters to flesh out the story, but for this version of the game, you can only play as Jill Valentine. Sorry, Chris fans. Saving your progress is the same as the original, where you'll still need to use ink ribbons. You'll still have to manage your inventory as well. You can only hold 8 items at a time. You're also going to have to solve some puzzles and bring special items to different locations, like the battery for example. You'll still get to wander around the mansion, greenhouse, and underground facility. The sprites and animation do look good, especially for an 8-bit rendition. Most items appear as a flashing 4-pointed star, and when you approach them and pick them up, you'll see them in your inventory, where you can get a better look and decide what you want to do with them. Of course, there are storage chests throughout the game to swap between your items, and typewriters again to save your progress. There's also a bit of variety in the enemies. You'll encounter obviously zombies, snakes, Cerberus, hunters, and of course, the Tyrant. The gameplay is pretty good, and it's very much like the Resident Evil Gaiden version on the Game Boy. You'll have to enter battle with an enemy, which is a timed shooting event. Your aimer will go quickly from left to right and back again, and you'll have to press your button as close to the center as you can. You do need to get used to it, but it is quite manageable and kind of fun. Some enemies you can go around, some will be unavoidable. The more of a center shot you have, the more damage you'll do and the quicker you can end a fight. This conserves ammo and health. Just like in the original, when you lose all your health, you die. In addition, you'll get to see the "you died" screen as well. The boss fight is still here, and albeit it is less grand, the game never gets overly difficult, provided your timing for your weapon is on point. The story is conveyed through text and, again, stays pretty faithful to the original game. The music is not from the game and is repetitive and generic like mentioned earlier. I would recommend putting on a good podcast, or a horror movie in the background if you're trying to give yourself a little scare. Overall, the game is a fun little oddity in the retro gaming community. I'd recommend it to Resident Evil fans and homebrew bootleg collectors alike. It's not the greatest thing you're going to play on your NES, and the ending is a little anticlimactic, but I still had a good time with this one. And depending on how well you find the items and memorize the layout, because sadly there isn't a map, this game can be completed in about an hour. I picked up my copy from AliExpress for under $20. There's also some free fan sites where you can download a similar version, and of course it does get translated into a few languages, mine obviously in English. The cart is also available in several colors, including the black version that I selected, as well as red, green, and the classic gray. Well, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at Resident Evil NES, and come back to the channel to see what else I can dig up for the month of October. Because, as you all know, it's a YouTube law that I have to do Halloween content this month. Take care, guys. See you soon.